This week I'm here to put to the test the GLA 250e. Not only is it a step up from the A-Class hatchback that it's based on, it's also a petrol-electric hybrid with 50 kilometers range. The hint to EQ power here on the side, and you've got two panels at the rear. One is for charging and one is for fuel on the far side. Thankfully, the charging port is on the rear, which means you can now reverse into the spot and drive out safe. The new Mercedes GLA 250e is a competent all-rounder. It offers a decent range, predictable handling and a plush, tech-filled cabin. Featuring the same 1.3 litre petrol engine you'll find in cheaper GLAs, the hybrid adds power from a 10.6 kilowatt per hour battery and 101 brake horsepower electric motor. While the dash estimates about 55 kilometers range, in the real world it actually does. The GLA's tech-filled cabin is among the slickest and best appointed in the class. The infotainment system is logical and slick, plus the graphics are crystal clear. The GLA has a larger central screen split into two. Inevitably, you end up controlling everything from either voice commands or using the steering wheel controls. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity is very intuitive and hooks up easily. The cabin comes with Usbc points. When you connect using a Usbc cable, it tends to trail across the haptic pad. The driver can also vary the layout on the digital cluster, mainly via steering wheel buttons and toggles. A fair degree of learning is involved, though the majority of owners should find the effort worthwhile. The GLA works well as a family car, with loads of space for odds and ends. There's a big cubby between the front seats, decent storage space above the trackpad and a suitably sized glove box. Every version from the entry level to the range-topping AMGs come with climate control, heated front seats, fully digital dashboard plus sat-nav. Moving up through the range adds things like smartphone integration with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and wireless charging, and a different trim including larger wheels and contrast stitching for the seats. And it's typical Merc inside. Excellent quality, really nice feel, lovely steering wheel, the MBUX setup. We've got these twin screens and you can activate by voice control or using haptic touch, or you could use a steering wheel. So there's a number of ways to do it. I've used the haptic touch pad the least. If you're using Apple CarPlay, which hooks up very, very easily, the only thing is that the cable tends to trail across the haptic pad, so sometimes that can cause a little bit of interference. If you've optioned the wireless charging, you've got that neatly up front as well. It's a lovely, lovely cabin to spend time in, and I have done about 650 kilometers in it this week alone. I've packed the car full. I've taken my bike, I've headed down to Waterford. I've done the Waterford Greenway, which is brilliant, by the way. Really, really do recommend that. And at the moment I'm heading up to just past Longford, and I'm heading up to Carrick-on-Shannon. This is just a quick day trip, but the car has been fantastic throughout. It really has. It's handled everything, and it's a lot more amenable than perhaps an A-Class would be. I do prefer the styling of the A-Class because it's a hatchback, and I really do like traditional hatchback styling, but SUVs are the way things are going, and this has done it so well. They've improved in leaps and bounds over the previous GLA, and not only that, this is a GLA 250e. What that means is it's a petrol electric hybrid, so the majority of your fuel consumption is coming from petrol, but then you get an extra 50 kilometers out of the hybrid battery. It switches quite smoothly between the two. Not all PHEVs can do that. And the 50 kilometers that you get out of it, that's a genuine 50 kilometers. The only other brand that I've seen do that is Audi, and they do it brilliantly. In this Mercedes, it's a genuine 50 kilometers. It does what it says, it doesn't disappear. You can use air conditioning to cool the cabin or heat the cabin, and it doesn't, again, it just doesn't disappear. It's easy enough to charge on a slow charger. It takes about 7 to 8 hours. You've also got the option of CCS. The full tank
range gives about 455 kilometers, but when I jumped in this, I used it for 2 days on the electric alone. So I got about 100 kilometers out of that, and the petrol didn't budge. It'll jump into the combustion engine if you really push the accelerator, but genuinely no need to do that. There really isn't. And it doesn't flip between the two, which some PHEVs have a tendency to do. This is a fantastic little 1.3 litre engine. Now it does have 218 brake horsepower, and that makes all the difference.
The GLA isn't the type of car that you're going to thrash around from A to B. If that's your thing, then look at one of the AMG models, or better still, the lighter, lower A-class hatchback. The GLA is a really safe, predictable and easy car to drive. The steering is smooth, there's plenty of power, and the PHEV works imperceptibly. It only gets gruff engine noises when it's really pushed. Body control is better than before, which means you can really trust the car to behave as intended.